Hello viewers, hello, and welcome to this evening's Time with your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by Ecobank Ghana Limited and Equity Assurance. We are still on compliance. We've been discussing it for a while now, and we still have with us Mr. Joe Techi Yeboah. Stay glued to your seat. We'll be right back after the short break.
Get ready to move on up with Ecobank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. More ATMs across Africa than any other bank, so there's always one closer to you. The freedom to pay with a card instead of cash. To bank with your mobile anytime, anywhere. Or send money thousands of miles in a flash. Plus, smart ways to save and invest so your children can move on up too. And trust Ecobank to help with the things that matter most. Visit us online today and move on up with Ecobank, the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back. This program is sponsored by Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank, and supported by Belacqua. This evening, as I've already said, we'll continue from where we left off the last time we discussed compliance. And we still have with us Mr. Joe Techi Yeboah. Yeah, the last time we met, we were looking at the check-in system and the confidence customers are or third parties are losing in the checking system due to confirmation of checks. But I have arranged for someone to come and talk on checks. So I wouldn't bother you so much in that area. But I want us to look at compliance and the non-bank financial institutions, whether indeed they adhere to Bank of Ghana notices and whether they are doing the right thing, because there have been challenges in the non-bank financial system the past year, and it is still rolling on. Some microfinances have found themselves in tight corners because they were not adhering to Bank of Ghana notices. I just want us to look at compliance in that area.
Yes, I think I want to go back a little bit. These microfinance institutions were existing. Some of them were existing before Bank of Ghana came out with the Act. The Act brought them into focus. So while the Act was indeed enacted, and then they had to also bring up these unlicensed microfinance institutions, they were also at the same time picking up new people were also coming, new entities were also being set up to do the microfinance business. So indeed, that's how come I would say, to the best of my mind, that's the more reason why most of these institutions are still there without even knowing that they need to be regulated. Some of them think that they still have to operate like they used to do before. But now, Bank of Ghana has set in, and every microfinance institution will need to be registered or approved by Bank of Ghana before you can start doing your business. But with those existing ones, they had to look into their affairs to really bring them up to speed with regards to whatever requirements that had been set by Bank of Ghana. So a lot of them, the last count, I think there were over 300 microfinance institutions that were existing.
That has registered or existing?
Existing. And Bank of Ghana was still formally admitting some of them.
New ones.
So they had submitted the existing ones as well as new ones. So they were still registering these existing ones as well as new ones. So the challenge that the microfinance institutions are having will partially be as a result of they existing before the enactment of that particular act. That's why some of these things are there. And they now, from 2013 up to now, every microfinance institution will need to be registered. If you are not registered, it means that the regulators will come up and then close down the institution.
But from 2013 to date, how would the customer know which microfinances are regulated and which ones are not?
From 2013 to date, the Act, Bank of Ghana's requirement is that every microfinance institution should have the name of microfinance attached to the name of that particular entity. So if you have a fan club and it doesn't end with a microfinance institution, that should also caution you that that particular entity is not even registered. So you should be careful when you are dealing with them, because it is regulatory. It's a regulatory requirement that all such microfinance institutions must add the microfinance to their names.
But if it is a fan club, what is their business in collecting deposits?
Well, that is another angle that we need to look at too. It means that they are not qualified to do that, because if you are not licensed, you can't operate as a microfinance institution. So you cannot have a fan club collecting money. A fan club is a fan club. So if you are collecting money, maybe it should be
a dues from your members.
Yeah, and not to extend it to business, because a fan club does not act as a business entity. It can't act as a business entity because it's a fan club, as the name even qualifies. Yeah.
But the issue I have here is that from the trend so far, from 2013 to date, you realize that before you can collect deposits, you need to be registered or you need to be regulated by Bank of Ghana. Because now Bank of Ghana has specified the criteria. They have the tier 1, the tier 2, and then they have the 3, and they have the 4, as you've said. And the various institutions falls under these tiers. So, and with this new enactment of this policy, they have taken the whole structure into consideration, because you realize that previously Susu collectors were not regulated.
Sure.
But now Susu collectors are regulated, money lenders regulated, microfinances, those are the ones we call the non-bank financials. With the savings and loans institutions also. So if a fan club is collecting deposits, he does not fall under any of the 4 tiers that Bank of Ghana has come up with. I think that the public must be aware.
Yeah, the public must be aware. And if it is a fan club, and like I said, if you walk into any place and it's not registered, at least, even if though, I mean, we have a lot of illiteracy within the public or the community that we live in. So most of them may not even, they may see maybe posters in the hall of that particular entity, and they will not know what it is. Yeah. However, if you are registered, your certificate should be boldly pasted in the place there for people to also have a look at it. And if you want to do business with such people, this is how you have to do. You also look out for their registration to be sure that they are registered. And the name itself, if it's a fan club and it does not have the microfinance attached, please don't do business with that particular entity. And what we also advise the public is that they should also be, maybe in the radio stations will also be talking about some of these things, and they must also listen to these things, watch TVs, and also be sure and then because especially those who can't read, so that once these programs are going on, you also get some information, then you can keep it in mind so that you don't also fall victim to some of these institutions.
Viewers will take a short break. This program is sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, supported by Belacqua. Stay glued to your seat. We'll be right back.
Get ready to move on up with EcoBank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. More ATMs across Africa than any other bank, so there's always one closer to you. The freedom to pay with a card instead of cash. To bank with your mobile anytime, anywhere. Or send money thousands of miles in a flash. Plus, smart ways to save and invest so your children can move on up too. And trust EcoBank to help with the things that matter most. Visit us online today and move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back, viewers, to Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and Equity Assurance. Mr. Joe Techi-Yeboah, we are still looking at the microfinance and the regulator. You are saying that if one walks into any microfinance institution, one must start looking out for their registration certificates and whether they have been regulated by Bank of Ghana. How do any ordinary Ghanaian know? Because most people who deal with the microfinances are semi-literates or illiterates.
Yes, that's what I said. They should also be listening to most of these radio stations and then watch TVs, as well as any other fora that may come up. Some of these things will come up. And with the collapse of most of these institutions, just last year, a lot of them are also cautious now. And indeed, this is not the first time that Ghanaians or the public has been duped in this manner. So the only thing is that we need to be careful when you want to do any investment with an entity. Maybe talk to a colleague or a friend to find out how worthy this particular entity is, without you just walking into a place to just waste your funds, because your deposit will just go off there and then you will never get it back. And with even the passage of this deposit protection, if you even go in there and you are supposed to, if you are supposed to be rewarded, you only get a peanut out of it. It's not enough. So we'll caution the public to ensure that whatever that investment that they are doing, they should seek advice from maybe persons with such experience, and then they will not get their fingers bent like it happened in the past.
What is the deposit protection? You just mentioned it.
Yes, it is what is being passed into an act by the initiators at Bank of Ghana to ensure that we don't experience the sort of losses that we did last year, where some other microfinance institutions collapsed and customers could not get anything from them. So this is being passed into law, where it brings the banks, and then it says banks and then special deposit institutions. Special deposit institutions. So these microfinance institutions will be part of the special deposit institutions, while the banks will also stand on their own. The banks already are regulated, but this act is also to ensure that if any institution goes bust, there will be the customers will not lose out completely, but they will get something to at least hold on to. So that's why the law is being passed, to ensure that customers will not suffer the losses that have happened in the past.
Yeah, but you know, most Ghanaians know almost all the banks in the country. Why wouldn't we come out with the list of registered microfinances, those of good standing? I think Bank of
Ghana does that. But you see, like you said, like we all know, most people don't read. Ghanaians, especially most of us, we don't read. So it will be difficult to even go to the site. If you go to Bank of Ghana site, you see all the registered microfinance institutions. Every financial institution that is regulated by Bank of Ghana, you see the list of such institutions there. Whatever category that they fall in, they will have a list. So if you go to, if say you are doing the microfinance institutions, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 to 4, all these are listed, and they tell you that these people these entities are credible to do business because they are registered. So it is up to us. That's what I said, that even the illiterates, once you want to walk into an institution, you shouldn't just look out for whatever you're going to gain there. Talk to somebody who perhaps will also, because most of the time you realize that somebody will go walk in there and do the investment and pass it on to somebody else again, and then it will be multiplying, and many people will go in there to go and invest. Now, instead of you just walking into the place there, seek another opinion from somebody else to find out whether indeed it is credible, because you should not get yourself into such troubles that we have found, we had last year. So now we should be cautious. Anybody who comes out of juicy interest rates, you should be careful about that. So always seek opinion from other people who are knowledgeable in that field, and so that you'll be protected.
Why not in the newspapers? Because most Ghanaians don't have access to the internet. So if these names are posted on Bank of Ghana's website, people don't even know the website. How would they access this information?
I believe now in Ghana, almost everybody who reads or who can read, if you can read a newspaper, by all means, that person might have access to.
That is where you are mistaken, because those who really have the monies are the monies are really with the microsector, and those are the semi-literates and illiterates, and these are the people who don't have access to the internet. But if it is newspaper, somebody can look at it and inform.
Yeah, so that's
so if in a community there is a microfinance there, they don't have access to internet, and you put your records are there on the net. How would these people access it? That was why I was talking about the newspapers, so that at least for newspapers it travels far. It travels far. If they have somebody, one person or some few people can read, they can scan through them and know whether this microfinance that has recently been set in their community, they've been set up in the community, is worth their while or not, or whether it's credible or not.
Yeah, it's all about. I still stand by the reason that before you go walk into any investment entity or any microfinance institution, seek a second opinion from somebody who is knowledgeable. Perhaps that person that you are going to, once that person is knowledgeable, would have cited the site of Bank of Ghana. But I'm not also discounting the fact that it should be published. I don't know. I cannot speak for the regulator. But of course, maybe they have plans to be
I'm
publishing
arranging to get one of them here.
Yeah, so maybe
soon.
Okay, maybe that will be well answered there. But I will always advise that seek a second opinion before you walk into any place there. Don't just be attracted by the interest rate that they are offering, because the interest rates will also land you into a big trouble. You will lose all your deposits. So you should be careful. Seek the second opinion, and then before you walk into any place there, you'll be protected. Your money will not get lost.
Talking about interest rates, you know, Ghanaians, we like money when it comes to getting it faster. So I think, as you said, we should be wary of such rates, especially when the rates are high.
Yes.
And we have to begin to be rational. That this high interest rate, what at all is the person going to do with the money he's collecting and giving me this high rate? How much is he also going to online?
Yeah.
And if we look at, we have an assessment of all these things, then we can know where to put our monies and where not to put our monies. The last time you were here, we spoke on compliance and notices to the public. One thing that is worrying, some customers called me and they were complaining about charges on their accounts. That most of the time, the bank takes policies concerning the charges on the account, and it's not communicated to them before they could say Jack, or before they are aware their accounts are debited with such sums that they have no knowledge of. It's not been communicated to them. I know as bankers we are entitled to our commissions. That one is by law. We are entitled to them. But I think it's just fair that it is communicated to the customer because that's their complaints.
I think, I don't know why there should be such complaint because I know the banks do well very there, or over there, because what they do is that they have, you walk in there, they have these rates displayed. Most of the banks who now even use the SMS where they send out to almost all their customers. So it's only maybe perhaps those who are complaining will be those who are not perhaps using mobile phones. Maybe if they walk in and they are so literate and you see that the banks, even on they display them on their screens. You see the rates that are applicable there being displayed on almost all the
their problem is that the rates are deducted before they are informed. They are saying that they want the bank to communicate such notices to them so they can assess whether they still want to be banking with that particular bank, knowing that the maintenance or COT is being increased. They should be given the option, not the bank starting to deduct before they are informed.
There's a caveat there where they say, even when you are being advised, they still state that it is subject to their review. So anytime they review, of course, it is good for them to also announce the reviewed rates before it is applied.
Yes.
And so what I know of certain banks, I cannot speak for all banks, they will always communicate through using the SMS, or they'll have a brochure where all these are displayed there, and they'll give a deadline, maybe starting from from next week, or they'll state a date, specific date, that we're going to apply these rates. So it will be displayed in the banking hall. It will also be displayed through the SMS, and that's what they know most banks do now.
Mr. Joe Tuchi, we are taking a short break. We'll be right back. Viewers, we take a short break. We'll be right back. This program is sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and supported by Belacqua.
Get ready to move on up with EcoBank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. More ATMs across Africa than any other bank, so there's always one closer to you. The freedom to pay with a card instead of cash. To bank with your mobile anytime, anywhere. Or send money thousands of miles in a flash. Plus, smart ways to save and invest so your children can move on up too. And trust EcoBank to help with the things that matter most. Visit us online today and move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thanks for watching Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. We are still on compliance. We've spoken on microfinance and the way we should be cautious of their high interest rates and watch out for the notices or regulators notice whenever we walk into their premises. We also need to ensure that that microfinance is indeed registered. We've also been looking at charges on our accounts as customers, and Mr. Joe Techi-Yeboah was on that when we took the short break. Mr. Techi-Yeboah, you were saying that such notices are given on SMS, and you said some through the internet,
on the brochures too as well.
On the brochures.
And then if you go to the bank site, you also see it. And they always give it.
For the site, just relax on that, because most Ghanaians don't have access to the site. It's only those who are educated and those who are in the urban centers.
Yeah, what the banks generally do is that they would post these notices in the banking hall, or they will post them on the brochures. So if you pick a brochure, they will indicate the effective date that these the reviewed rates will take effect. And then they also use the SMS too. They send out SMS. I recall when the VAT was introduced, most of the banks, that was the medium that they used. They used the SMS and used the brochures as well, and indicated that from a certain date ahead of time, they'll be applying this, and that is coming from the government. The government has introduced the VAT, so they'll start applying these within a certain time. They gave a long time from which they were going to start. And indeed, that was what happened.
But that is not the case when it comes to bank charges.
Bank charges, that's what they do.
It's more immediate than the VAT, because the VAT took a long time before, and when in actual fact, when it started, the banks had to stop because of the protest from the customers.
Yeah.
And then education went down well before it was reintroduced. But when it comes to our charges, we don't waste time on that. Oh. And most of the time, the complaints of the customers are that they are not informed before they know the account is being debited, and that now they don't have access to their bank statements unless they walk in before they are given. They walk in and request before their bank statements are issued to them, and that also comes with a fee. But in actual fact, at the end of the month, they should know what transactions has indeed transpired on their account. That's some of their worries also. What do you have to say on that?
I think now they should also bear in mind that the banking institutions are commercial entities. In the past, they used to maybe issue statements maybe on a daily basis or monthly without any charge. Now it is very expensive to come by some of these statements. What you can do is, if you want a statement, you will need to also indicate to them how frequent or how often you will need these statements. And once you indicate that, they will be mailed to you or they will be sent to you to the address that has been given. But if you just walk in and you want a bank statement, let's say you want an interim statement, certainly the banks will have to charge you for that.
I'm not talking about that.
No, I don't think if they were supposed to issue statements every month and they didn't do that, and you've gone to correct that, they will charge you. No bank will charge you for that. They will.
I have a case. That's why I'm
maybe the person will have to go back to the bank and then complain. They will reverse the charges.
You see, both of us, we are smiling or laughing.
I'm sure of that.
The hassling the customer will have to go through before that reversal is done.
Oh, but you still, that is the step that you have to take to get the thing corrected. If you don't complain, if you don't work there to tell them what has gone wrong, it will still remain unresolved. And that, I don't think that is good enough. If
the customer's request is that monthly it should be issued with a statement, that statement is free.
Sure.
But subsequent ones, those ones need to be charged.
Yeah.
That one, we all agree to it.
Indeed, we are always, the banks are always at the service of the customers. So you have every right to complain when a service is not being rendered, because that is the sort of relationship I have with the bank. So once you also give an instruction that this is how you want it, the bank will have to comply. If they don't comply, it means you have an issue with that particular bank.
You want to move on and move to EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. All too soon, viewers, we've come to the end of this program. It's been very interesting and insightful, and we thank you, Mr. Joe Techi-Yeboah, for making time again.
Thank you.
To come on the program.
Thank you.
We hope next time when we have other issues and we invite you, you find time and honor
Certainly.
it.
I'm always at call. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, viewers, this is where we'll end today's program. We hope you have learned a lot from our discussions, because this program is educating the public on pertinent issues in the banking industry. We want to break banking down to the customer or to the lay person. This program is sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and Equity Assurance, supported by Belacqua. After a stressful day, you end by drinking a chilled bottle of Belacqua. We'll meet same time again next week, on Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor, hosted by Betty Ayi, your banker.